22 hours in Accra, 8 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, and it's 5 p.m. in Mexico City. This is News at 10 from the News Hub here at Adesa Wikanda in Accra. My name is Bright Nanafo. Let's start the bulletin with a look at the day's major news highlights. And first on the list, government has extended the deadline for the registration of qualified senior high school applicants for the fourth time. The new deadline, according to a statement signed by the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, is now the end of September 2017. So all students or candidates who have not been placed are expected to be placed. President Adodankwa Akufo-Addo has appealed to the chiefs and people of the northern region to work towards ensuring lasting peace in Dagbon to promote development in the area. Receiving a Northern Regional House of Chiefs at the Flagstaff House in Accra, the president urged them to support government to improve the living standards of all Ghanaians. And 5,000 shippers have accessed the online transaction, with 500 successfully clearing their goods within 5 days of the implementation of the paperless port transaction. The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has, however, authorized the release of more than 160 declarations locked up in the transaction system to be cleared through the old manual system. And on the international front, soldiers in the Togolese capital have been looking for opposition demonstrators who vandalized public property on Friday morning. The soldiers have heavily descended on the protesters, beating them with sticks and batons. And we're grateful for you staying at the viewers across the country. Thanks so much for your time. This is your show, News at 10. Let's start with our first story. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has appealed to the chiefs and people of the northern region to work towards ensuring lasting peace in Dagbon to promote development in the area. Receiving the Northern Regional House of Chiefs at the Flagstaff House in Accra, the president urged them to support government to improve the living standards of all Ghanaians.
The leadership of the Northern Regional House of Chiefs were at the Flagstaff House to pledge their support for the policies of government and in particular the creation of the new region.
My people have asked me to make a passionate appeal to you to make it possible for Gonjaland to be carved out as a specific region out of the current Northern region. There are many other Gonjas of repute, willing, capable, and ready to be of service to your party and government.
President Akufo-Addo, expressing his appreciation for the visit, charged them to quickly work on measures of ensuring lasting peace in the region.
I need the support of you. I need the support of our people to make sure that this program of radical social and economic transformation and development of Ghana becomes reality in our time. And in that exercise, the key strategic traditional rulers in our country, like you, have a very important role to play in it. But I know you are the measure. I know that your heart and mind are in the right place to support the progress of this country.
And now let's continue with the big one. Now, government has extended the deadline for the registration of qualified senior high school applicants for the fourth time. The new deadline, according to a statement signed by the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, is now the end of September 2017, and candidates are being asked to access from the website csSPS.gov.gh. ssps.gov.gh. The ministry assured parents and guardians that no child who qualifies to be placed in a public senior high school will be left behind. And let's quickly speak to the president of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association, Mr. Alexander Yao Danso. He's just joined me on the phone lines. Good evening, and grateful for your time now. Certainly, the extended period is good news for parents and pupils.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to your listeners and viewers. Yes, it's really a good news because as I said earlier, I have been saying it on many of the networks, that the government, and for that, the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service, they have no slightest idea of preventing any child from enjoying the free SHS. So it's a good news since it has been extended. It's a good news to parents. Yeah.
I see. So for those who are still struggling to get to be placed, some have gone through the frustrations and perhaps might have given up. How are we able to get all of them to take advantage of this extended period?
Right, my brother, thank you very much. What is happening this year is not a new thing to us. Parents have been going through this trauma, and I call it yearly rituals. This is not the first time. Ever since the commencement of the computerized placement system, every year you see parents, rushing, it's due to rush. And so you realize that people will wait and be crying, and the attitude of, I like this school, I don't like this school. Some will be placed, but they will tell you they don't like this school because it is a day school or something. And that is the more reason why people are complaining about. Not that some of them have not been placed. Some have been placed, but it's just that they don't want a day school. And so all these things normally happen. Every year it comes. We would have thought that the Placement Center would have upgraded their software so to enable them work harder and then reduce the burden on parents every year. But hopefully, God willing, I'm sure what we are going through this year will never happen next year. Even if it will happen to be at a minimal level.
I see. Some have argued that what you said isn't really the case, that parents do not like their wards to attend these schools, but it is a matter of the quality of academic work at some of these schools. And so the suggestion is that government should quickly turn attention to making sure that all senior high schools have the quality of the likes of Prempeh College, Wesley Girls, Achimota, Accra Academy, and the rest, Mawuli Secondary and Tamale Secondary. When that happens, parents would accept the awards placed at any of these schools. Is that a suggestion you push government to listen to?
My brother, thank you very much. If you are to rely on this assertion, that means a lot of people wouldn't attend school, and a lot of people wouldn't even become big men, lawyers, professors, and all that. I don't want to mention a particular region. There, you wouldn't find not many schools have the the qualities of a Prempeh, Santua, so. But they are all qualified. You have professors and doctors in their midst. It is not the school that is going to study for you. It is the human being, the person who is entering. You must get a vision. You must get an aim that you are going to achieve your aim in this particular school. It is not the school has a name. It is a name. So if you want to go to school A, that has a name. I know of a child who attended a very big school, a very renowned school in Accra here. But at the end of his studies, he got aggregate 30. What is for? So it is not the school, it is the person who is going to, excuse me, who is entering the school, who should know that this is why I have been placed here, and this is what I have to do to achieve my aim. And let me take the instance of our deputy minister. The deputy minister didn't go to Prempeh College. He didn't go to Achimota. He went to Jachi Pramso. And look at his position now. So it is not the school. It is the person concerned.
Are you, for instance, comparing, let's say, a school that the regulator, Ghana Education Service, had itself graded as grade A, to another school that the same institution that supervises these schools has graded as grade D. Are you suggesting they are the same?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, I mean, they teach all the subjects. If it is a vocational school, they teach all the vocational subjects. If it is the secondary school, they teach the secondary subjects. So what I'm saying is that the person who has been placed there should be able to study hard. He should know that this is why I've been put here, and this is what I want to become in future. The grade, the grade A, the grade B, the grade C, and all that. My brother, the bottom line is that you should study and pass and become somebody sometime, someday.
I see. I'm grateful for your time tonight. Alexander Yaw-Danso is the president of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association, talking to me right here on Newsat 10. Grateful for your time there. Now, we're stopping on the break. When we come back, we'll tell you exactly what former President John Mahama has been talking about, what he thinks the lives of Ghanaians are. Stay with us. We're back in a moment. Welcome back. Former President John Mahama has said people are no longer interested in how they can work to better the lives of Ghanaians, but rather that of their own. The former president was speaking at the inauguration of the first intake of students at the party's ideological school, the Ghana Institute of Social Democracy. Let's listen to him.
Nationalism and patriotism have become very deficient in Ghana today. Absolutely nobody thinks about the country first. We all think about ourselves first, our families second, our parties third maybe, our communities fourth, and Ghana comes a distant fifth or sixth or even 10th. And so if this institute not only trains cadres for the party to let them understand the ideological underpinnings of the NDC, because in 2002, as our national vice chair said, we adopted social democracy as our official party philosophy. And yet, I'm sure that if we ask, as many cadres, all over the country as possible what social democracy is, we'll get different interpretations of what social democracy is.
All right, from President Mahama there, talking at the first intake of students of the Institute of Social Democracy. But let's speak to Kwakweje Mr. Abraham. He's with the Center for Policy Research and Training and also a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Yes, University of Cape Coast there via Skype. Good evening, sir, and thanks for your time.
Good evening, right.
So let's start from here. The former president says that patriotism is dead. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. The former president was not actually out of place in making such a comment. When you look at our attitude as Ghanaians towards many things now, you see a tremendous shift from how things used to be, especially when you look at things that happened after our independence, especially our attitude to work. The way we approach work nowadays, we see that the kind of zeal, the kind of enthusiasm and patriotism that we put into certain things now is no more. And the former president made a valid observation, just that he did not make us realize the cause, the cause of the situation whereby Ghanaians are no more very much patriotic in issues that concerns Ghana. And we all know some of the causes are very much evident for us, and our leaders basically form the base of some of the causes for which most Ghanaians are no more patriotic.
I see. So if that is the case, then it means that he is a contributor to the fact that people have lost their sense of patriotism.
Exactly. As a politician and as someone who has been the leader of the country, Ghanaians have been looking forward to such people to motivate us to work and put our country first. But when issues as perceptive as they may seem, issues such as corruption, issues such as attitude to work, remuneration, condition of service, and all those things, when they do not actually reflect in the life of the people, but they seem to reflect in the life of a selected few, then definitely people will, wouldn't have the needed attitude and the needed zeal towards work in order to make the nation move forward as it should. So the president is not exonerated from such a
situation as we see. Now, would you mentioned leadership or leaders as one of the reasons why patriotism has been thrown to the dogs. Would you say that perhaps partisan politics is another reason?
Definitely. But partisan politics has not been a major cause, because partisan politics has been with us right after independence. But if you realize the kind of attitude that Ghanaians had during that period, you could see that yes, there were partisan politics, there were divisions in terms of political affiliations, but it did not actually reflect in how we conceive of Ghana. Nowadays, when we conceive of Ghana, we think of Ghana based on what we will get from it. So then we would have said that yes, in partisan politics, people were more of servants, chief servants. But now we see that they are more of those that we are rather serving. Just that it is not the pivotal cause for which the attitude of Ghanaians have changed. Just that when you also look at the benefits that some people are getting out of politics, when you see people who normally are not supposed to get certain things, and when you see the kind of lifestyle that they are living, of course, people wouldn't actually put in much effort when they are considering issues that concern Ghana.
I see. So, for instance, a political party setting up a school to tutor its members on that party's ideology. The president also said that the school will not only tutor its members on the party's ideology, but also try and imbibe in those who attend the school some patriotic values. Is this achievable?
Definitely. Let me commend the NDC for taking such an initiative. As a social democratic party, they have undertaken a lot of policies when they were in government that are not actually social democracy per se, because as a social democratic party, their grassroots is the masses, the broad base of the part of the people, and they are supposed to believe in social safety nets and intervention programs that is supposed to bridge the inequality gap. But when you examine the base policies of the party, you could see that they did not do very much in order to project such an ideology. So to have a school that is supposed to train people in that aspect, it's a very good venture, and I'll say that it is very much achievable. Just that they need to make sure that it will be more of training than indoctrination, and also to make sure that they get the core intellectual base together, much as they go on to train people who will be interested in understanding the ideologies of the party. I'm
grateful for your time with us tonight. Kwao Kweja Mr. Abraham is with the Center for Policy Research and Training, and also a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast there, talking to me. Let's move to Tema, and the Assembly there has rescinded its decision to suspend the MP for Tema West, Carlos Ahenkra, from activities of the Assembly. The decision was taken after the Municipal Chief Executive Felix Annan appealed to the General Assembly to reconsider their decision.
Assembly met to take a final decision on the suspension of Carlos Ahenkra, the Tema West MP who doubles as the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry. Some Assembly members shared their sentiments.
All it appears he's supposed to go to jail for 6 months. But this August have been so generous that we gave him the opportunity to come here and tell us why he did that. The video was shown over here, we all saw it. What is the way forward? If you pardon him now, is he going to allow the citizenry to work?
We are meeting here, but we can decide that all people who are ex officio here should excuse us. So we meet in a committee to take some decisions. That is why always when there are laws, there are consensus, compromises.
The presiding member, Richard Fiadomo, explained the way forward on the issue.
Carlos Kingsley Ahenkra's suspension has been rescinded by this House, and he is subsequently being referred to appear before the PRCC at a later date.
The Assembly's decision to suspend Carlos Ahenkra was after he lost his cool and attacked the Tema Metropolitan Assembly Works engineer Maxwell Edubuating, who was supervising the demolition of unauthorized structures erected at the edge of a road in the area. The unauthorized structures, according to the Assembly, was obstructing the movement and traffic along the stretch, hence the exercise.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has implored President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to reduce fuel tariffs as he promised Ghanaians. General Secretary of the union, Solomon Kote, is of the view the reduction would assist Ghanaians to save more income to better their livelihoods.
The General Secretary, Solomon Kote, made observation at the official inauguration of his local union at HFC Bank in Accra. He charged the newly inaugurated leaders to promote productivity and welfare of staff to spur the company into higher heights. Solomon Kote again asked the workers at the bank to be circumspect and respect labor regulations.
We might not be part of top management, but we have what it takes to actually turn this business around. And we are going to do it in style, so that when the returns have come, we'll be able to say, give us what is due us. And I believe the law will support us when we get to that level.
On national issues, the General Secretary asked President Akufo-Addo to ensure fuel prices are reduced drastically. He again urged government to reduce corporate tax from 25% to 20% in 2018 as promised.
We are looking at whether Ghanaians will be able to buy fuel into a car and then be able to provide 3 square meals. It's part of his promise. And Labour is also looking on whether the promise of bringing the corporate tax to 20% will also be a reality. And then reducing the PAYE, the tax that we pay, we believe is too much. And then we're also calling for overtime tax that we have added.
Now let's see the international front. Soldiers in the Togolese capital Friday have been looking for opposition demonstrators who vandalized public property Friday morning. The soldiers have heavily descended on the protesters, beating them with sticks and batons. Komla Kruche has this report from Lome.
A fierce protest on Thursday. The opposition will not budge. Thousands poured in the streets with a common voice: 4 must go. Defiant, the opposition is poised to be on the streets for 60 days. On Friday, the protesters burned car tires and blocked parts of the road. The soldiers are desperately in search of them. House to house, room to room, they search for these protesters. The government has vowed to deal ruthlessly with anyone who destroys public property.
And of course, there's more news on 3news.com. And that's how we're wrapping up the show for tonight. I'm grateful for those of you who stayed out there to be part of it. And of course, to my team in here, cameraman Christopher Soa, Stephen Nete, and Dan Latte Amando. My soundman Theophilus Clotte, John Flagbo, Albert Mensah. And the show was put together by Samuel Wuswentry and Isaac Ameko. Studio director Richard Bruce Lampton. My name is Brighton Anafo. Have a great night, but stay right here. Until we fail. Good night.